This week, we're going to finish up our series on the Walt Disney theme parks. We're going to talk about Animal Kingdom today. This is episode 49. I'm Soraya.
I'm Aurora.
And together, we're just your average Disney travelers. Okay, so we've talked about Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, and now the last park, our main theme park at Walt Disney World is
Animal Kingdom.
And that will be our topic this week.
Yep.
All right, so do you want to start with some info?
Yeah. It opened on Earth Day, April 22nd, 1998. It has 580 acres and it is the largest theme park in the world.
That I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I guess once I think about it, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. It's so huge.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how much 1 acre is, but that's so it kind of
it's hard for you to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it has 20 attractions.
20 attractions. All right. Animal Kingdom is dedicated and themed entirely around nature and animal conservation. The park has hundreds of species of live animals, but it's not just a big zoo. And I hear so many people will say that. They'll be like, oh, it's just a zoo. We can skip it. We've been to zoos. It is not just a zoo. Not only is it huge and amazing, and if you're going to say it's a zoo, it's probably the best zoo you're going to go to. But in addition to that, they have traditional attractions and shows too. It is accredited by the Association of Zoo and Aquariums and the World Association of Zoo and Aquariums, which means that they meet or exceed standards in education, conservation, and research.
In 1920...
Not 20.
Wait.
You swapped that. 1920 was a while ago. I don't think the park was open in 1920.
I do that sometimes.
That's okay.
In 2019, it had 13.880. Wait, did I read that right?
888. Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. Points make me confused.
13.888
million guests, making it the third most visited theme park in North America and sixth in the world. It's the second most visited theme park in Walt Disney World, and Magic Kingdom is the first.
And that I was also surprised at, because I hear so many people say that they can skip it. I didn't realize just how many people still do go to Animal Kingdom, and so I'm really glad, actually, because it's such a great park. But yeah, I was really surprised it was number 2. And I wonder if that was just based off of that 2019 year, because a lot of those stats we've been talking about. But and I was thinking about this last week. We talked about Hollywood Studios, and I said how those numbers were the 2018 numbers, and I wondered why they weren't 2019. And then I realized, well, they were still doing a lot of their development of the park, and there just wasn't as much attendance while it was such a undergoing, still adding Galaxy's Edge, still adding Toy Story at some points. Although I think by 2019 Toy Story was up, but it wasn't all the way done. I mean, nothing's ever all the way done, but it was in a major process of rebuilding.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't count. And I wonder if Animal Kingdom is consistently second to Magic Kingdom, or if that just happened to be the year that they were counting the numbers. Anyways. But it's still, that's pretty awesome statistic.
The icon is the Tree of Life, a 400...
No.
I did again. 145...
It's a little bit later than we normally record, and so someone's a little tired.
I have
You're
3
done.
Ranger cookies.
Yeah, yes, and Dad was baking cookies, and so we're on.
Okay, a 140... Yeah, okay.
145
foot tall, 50-foot wide artificial tree with over 300 animals carved into its trunk, roots, and branches.
Yes. All right. And there are 7 areas in this park, in Animal Kingdom. Those areas are Oasis, Discovery Island, Pandora, the World of Avatar, Africa, Rafiki's Planet Watch, Asia, and Dino Land USA.
Um,
Fun facts.
yeah,
Give us some fun facts.
You can fit all three of the other Walt Disney World theme parks inside Animal Kingdom.
Which that talks about how big it is since it's the
Yeah.
largest in the world. Yeah.
The Magic Kingdom could fit inside just the Kilimanjaro Safari ride.
Yeah, that's a huge attraction. I mean, it's a whole it's a safari and it
Yeah.
has all the planes and everything. There's so much room for those animals.
Yeah. This park tends to be the hottest park at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
Yeah. Unlike
Maybe because it's so big, all the pavement.
maybe.
Yeah.
Unlike all the other Walt Disney World parks, the bathrooms at Animal Kingdom have a door at the entrance. This is so that in the unlikely event that any of the animals got loose, guests could go inside the bathrooms, keeping the door shut to stay safe.
I don't think I ever noticed that before, but
Me
now
neither.
that I had read that, yeah, that's probably smart. Although they've never had to use that, and
Nope.
hopefully they never will.
And Animal Kingdom prohibits plastic straws, lids, and balloons.
Yeah, and I knew about the plastic straws, and lids. I never realized about the balloons, but come to think of it, yeah, you don't see them ever selling balloons in Animal Kingdom. And of
Yeah.
course, that's for the safety of the animals, and that makes total sense. And when they say prohibit, what I'm going to assume, and I don't know because we've never tried, is that you couldn't bring in your own either. Now, if you bring in those metal straws, the reusable straws, that's fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not.
Because they use the paper ones and they do kind of follow. If you're having a drink for a little bit while, they start to get kind of wet and falling
Soggy.
apart. And yeah, so it is good to have your own straw if you don't like those paper straws. But I think that they will put lids on the kids' drinks still, pretty sure.
Yeah.
But the rest they do not. But anyways, yeah. So we love Animal Kingdom. I have to admit, even though we've always loved it. We've always gone from our very first time we've been there that it's been open. We've always gone at least once, sometimes twice in a trip. So we always have gone. But back in the day, it didn't have as much, and it wasn't open as late because of the animals. And so a lot of times we would cut out like well before evening. I mean, usually it would close by 6 anyways, but we would cut out maybe around 3 or 4 usually.
Yeah.
But then when they've added Pandora, and then
I love that place.
I know it is an incredible part
It's
of that park.
amazing. Just
Yeah.
fabulous. I remember like before Pandora, I didn't really care about Animal Kingdom that much. Like I would be happy to go, but I'd also quickly get bored after a while.
Plus, at that time, you didn't like thrill rides, so you weren't as
thrill
yeah,
rides.
yeah.
So like I didn't have Everest, but like ever since Pandora, that for me just
Changed everything.
it makes me love Animal Kingdom like way more.
Yeah.
Because just Pandora.
Yeah, is it
And
because
Everest.
of the rides there,
That,
or is
but
it
also just
the
because
area?
the area? The
Yeah.
area is just so amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty breathtaking.
Yeah.
And especially going in the day, but also going in the evening. That's what I was about to say before I was not so rudely interrupted. It was a welcome interruption. Was that when they added Pandora, not only did it add more attractions there to the parks, but they also increased the time. Like they had the park stay open later. They added, it's not an attraction necessarily, but they added the light show at the Tree of Life for the evenings. They don't do any fireworks, of course, because of the animals, and they're not going to. But they have like this nice light display and music going on around the Tree of Life in the evenings. For a time, they had a night show on the water, the Rivers of Light show. We never really saw that.
There's a river.
The water around the Tree of Life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember because of by Everest. Wait.
Yes, and there's a little
Yeah.
bit of a stadium, kind of some seating there.
Yeah.
Nowadays, what they're using that for, they call them flotillas. Because of the way things have been since COVID, characters can't just greet people, but they've been putting characters on these floats and floating them around because they go around different. It's not just right there at the stadium, at different points you could see these characters floating on the water, and so that's been kind of one way that they've had character interaction at Animal Kingdom. But anyhow, when they extended the hours there, we did start staying later because then even the safari ride, they added lighting so that you could see in the nighttime, where it looks like it's sunset throughout the evening until they close. And I like going back and riding that again after dark. We like seeing the lights on the Tree of Life, and of course Pandora.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Going back there in the evening with its bioluminescence lighting, it's pretty amazing. So yeah. Anyways, they've really done a lot, I think, to extend your time. You do want a full day there now. It used to be where you could maybe say it's a half day park and then switch over to another park to close out your day. But now, even though it still probably closes a little bit earlier than some of the other parks may stay open later, it really is a full day. And so that's been a nice change. So let's talk about some of our favorites.
Okay. Well,
do you want to go first?
Well, the thing is, the first two, which have been quick service and table service, I have nothing for. We don't really do quick service there.
We haven't very much.
Yeah, I don't remember ever doing quick service, but I probably have.
We have.
Yeah.
We have. We've done we'll do the takeout window over on the side of Yak and Yeti because I really like that food, and so we've done that. And I know we've done other quick service. I don't remember a lot of it because, like I said in the beginning, before Pandora was added, we didn't stay a full day, and so we would breakfast at the hotel. We'd go and then. Often we would have had like one character meal, or not character meal. We've done a sit-down meal, which I love. Yak and Yeti. You're gonna find that out. Okay, I'll just say it now. That's my favorite table service, Yak and Yeti. And so we would go that we've been there a couple times but we'll do that for lunch usually. And then, like I said, a lot of times we've left well before dinner, and we were either at another park or back at the hotel for dinner. And so we haven't done as many meals. And even on the times, even like on these lengthened days that. More recently, we've gone a couple times. We've had a couple of days in Animal Kingdom since they've had Pandora and the longer hours. But I will even have on my plans where we want to go. I've been wanting to go to Flame Tree Barbecue, and because it's supposed to be really, really good, and we just aren't hungry. I think one of those trips we were with I think we ate 2 table service meals with your aunt and uncle when we went the last time, and then when we went as a family, I know we did Yak and Yeti. So we just weren't hungry enough to have. I think we just had snacks instead of doing an actual quick service. So I don't blame you for not really remembering any quick service. You do remember a little bit of the table service.
I remember that one place that was the character meal.
Tusker House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember we ate there and nothing else.
You don't remember anything else?
Nope.
Do you remember any of the characters like Donald Duck?
I know at least one of them. Like, I remember we were kind of like tucked away.
We were off to the side.
I think I had orange juice, and then at least one character came around.
And I think we got them all, but you only remember like one of them.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. It's very strange how my memory works.
It's
and
okay.
And then Yak and Yeti, I remember we ate there, and I remember being cold.
You're funny. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was cold and hungry.
I don't recall being cold there, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you will be cold. You'll be like, oh, wait, hold on.
You get cold easier. You like the heat better than I do.
Yeah, I was switching out the words again. But yeah.
Okay. So anyways, yeah. So we don't have really a big... I would like to try Flame Tree Barbecue. I also really want to try in Pandora the Satuli Canteen. Really, really, really want to try that. I think we need to go and not plan a Yak and Yeti meal because
that's
then...
going to be really hard for you.
I know, because I really do like Yak and Yeti so much. It's just yummy. But go and just do a couple quick service meals so we can try these once and for all and find out if they're as good as they sound and as good as people have said. Because those are the 2 that are at the top of my list that I really want to try. And I think that I will really like. Okay, so let's move on to attractions since... Obviously, food is not going to be our strong point there. So, attractions. Do you want me to tell mine first, or do you want to do yours? I know you know yours. It's not like
I have a sneeze.
Oh, you have a sneeze that you're working on?
Yeah, barely there, but it's there and it's not doing anything.
Do you want me to talk then so you can work out
Yeah.
your sneeze situation? Okay. So my favorite attractions, okay, so my very favorite is the Kilimanjaro safaris. I love it. That's probably where I would love to start there every time lately because of the Flight of Passage being so popular. If we don't have a fast pass to it, we start there. But if we have a fast pass to it, then I want to go to Kilimanjaro first. In the morning, it's when the animals are more alert, and so they're usually more active. But I will admit that throughout the day, it changes. Every single time you go, no matter what time of day, you're going to have different animals behaving in different ways. And so it's not always necessarily the best time to go. I just like it best in the morning. And then I also like going again at dusk or at just after sundown. The animals, again, you have a whole different set of animal activity, like who's more awake than the others than were compared to the morning. But it's just really cool. This ride you can go over and over again and it'll be different every time because it's not really a scripted ride necessarily. You've got the person driving the Jeep and they are talking to you about it and they have things that they're hitting, like what they're talking about, but really you can ask them questions and they will comment on what's actually happening, not just what they memorize for that area. And so it's really unique in that you get a different experience every time. And you never can predict the animals. You never know when one's going to cross in front of the road and you're going to be sitting there for 5 minutes waiting for them to finish crossing the road, or when one might actually give birth out in the middle of the plains. You know, I mean, you just never know what you're going to get if you're going to see, animals grazing.
I would rather not see that.
Anyways, you just don't know what you're going to get. And so that is my favorite. Okay, so I also really like the Rafiki Planet Watch area, but specifically, I love the window where you can watch them taking care of the animals. So they have a room that is where they can do checkups and procedures, and it's a open window for you to watch, and you can see them if they're performing surgery or anything on any of the animals that they bring in, and they'll have someone there telling you generally what they're doing, what animal they're working on, why they're in there, what the procedure is, what's common stuff about it, or whatever. We've watched birds get their wings clipped so that they don't fly away, and just different things like that. But or the feathers gets clipped, and anyhow, it's just really fascinating. I think that's interesting, and again, something that you just never know what you're gonna get. You just kind of have to go and check it out and see if anything's going on and what it is. And then finally, I just love the Tree of Life. I love looking at it and looking for all the animals. I don't know if we've ever seen all of them because there are some that are pretty cleverly hidden away there. But anyways, how's your sneeze situation? Are you doing better?
It went away.
Okay, great. So you can share with us your favorite attractions.
Yeah, Everest and Flight of Passage.
Okay, so Expedition Everest.
Sorry, Expedition Everest and Flight of Passage.
Yep. And so why are those your favorite?
Because they're fun.
You've always loved Flight of Passage.
Yes.
Expedition Everest is...
I never disliked it. I was just too nervous to go on.
Yeah.
Because I knew it went backwards.
It does.
And I was kind of a bit nervous about that because back then I was really nervous about drops. And so it was like
There's
drop.
there is a little drop. You're right.
Going
it's
backwards,
not severe.
It's not really a drop, but it kind of is. But it's also backwards, and so.
But there is another part where it goes up pretty steep, and it's not a straight down drop necessarily. It's curving drop, but
that one's I'm fine with.
Yeah, that one's not too intense.
But then I went on, and then I loved it.
Yeah. I have been on it once because the going backwards part destroyed me. I was so sick for 2 days. It ruined the whole, and that was one of the first things we had gone on. And thankfully we had gone on safari first, but then we went on that, and after that I was done. I didn't get to go on anything else. Dad was really upset because he really wanted me to ride Dinosaur, and I was just too sick. I couldn't do it. And the next day I think
Dinosaur terrified me.
It is intense. It's funny because its counterpart, its identical track. Do you know what it is?
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland, which is your favorite, or one of your favorites.
Well, I haven't been on since I was 5, because of when I went on...
You're talking about Dinosaur.
Yeah. because when I went
It
when I was 5,
traumatized you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so word of advice, dinosaur, it's, first of all, that's not either one of ours favorites.
No.
But if you're going to go on it, your little kids, it is somewhat terrifying for little kids. It can, even for some adults might find it terrifying, but it's pretty intense. It's not my favorite ride. I do like
feel
Indiana Jones better.
I feel like I'll probably enjoy it.
You would.
Yeah, I'll probably, especially if it's the same track.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's kind
But
of
it's completely different environment, storyline.
Well, yeah.
You know what
But
they show, what you see.
Yeah, but if the ride
It's a lot
itself,
darker.
like if the
Track.
yeah, and just like the movement is the same, then I'll probably really like it.
Yeah, I think you would. So anyways, yeah, so I can't ride Expedition Everest. I get sick. And then I also can't ride Flight of Passage because it's a simulator.
You can't ride any of my favorites.
Pretty much. But I'm hoping that will change. I got this relief band thing that has helped me on boat trips. So I'm really hoping.
The real test is to go on Everest.
I know that won't happen soon, but when we go to Disneyland next time, I'm going to try to see if I can wear this and it'll help me not get sick on the rides. Because if
I really hope it does.
I am hoping it helps too. Because if that does, that will be a game changer. And then because I enjoy rides like Everest so much, except for the part where it makes me so sick that I can't do anything else the rest of the day. It kind of is a damper on the rest of everything. But and I imagine I would absolutely love Flight of Passage too. But I just have never been able to try it.
It's so fun. Like while you're waiting, you're like on the little motorcycle looking thing, and it does little pokes and stuff. Like
you can feel it.
Yeah.
Doing things under. I've heard you can feel it breathing.
Oh yeah, you can hear it breathing.
Yeah.
But like as you're waiting for
even
it to,
waiting,
because like it's in the story, like it hasn't connected yet. It just does little pokes to you.
Funny.
And stuff, and I really like it.
Okay, so let's move on. Do you have anything else for attractions?
No.
Okay, so shows. Do you have a favorite show?
No.
Okay, I do. I absolutely love the Festival of the Lion King. Do you remember that one? The one that has the Lion King songs and everything.
Really?
It has, imagine that. And it has the monkeys, which are not there right now since COVID, and I hope that they come back. Yeah, it's the monkey acrobats. Yeah,
that's what you meant.
Yeah. I think that's one of everybody's favorite because people talk about that part the most.
Yeah, that was my favorite bit.
Yeah, they were mine too, and they haven't been there since COVID, and I'm hoping that they come back, or maybe they might have to find different monkeys to be the acrobats. I don't know, but because those actually have so much contact, that might be why it's taking a long time to get that portion of the show back. But they have the singers and other performers there, and it is an amazing show. Do you remember any of the other shows? Anything else sticking out to you, or just because we've seen them? But
just a tree being lit up.
The night, the awakening of the Tree of Life and everything. Okay, so I guess we'll just move on then to the next, which is memories and experiences. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to?
I can go first because I actually have one.
Awesome. Share with us.
So, when I went on Everest...
I hope the cat doesn't purr too loud. The cat is now on Aurora's lap and right near the microphone.
Hey, it's fitting for Animal Kingdom.
That's true. We brought our own animal in for this.
But when I went on Everest, I was pretty nervous because I was really nervous about drops at the time. And afterwards, it ended up being my favorite. But then my aunt got me a shirt that was like, I conquered Everest shirt. And I don't know, then I was really happy about that.
Yep.
I still have the shirt.
Yeah. That was a couple years ago. It probably doesn't fit anymore.
Probably not.
But you have it for memory's sake. That is actually one of my favorite memories too, is the day that you overcame your fear of Everest, because that has become one of your favorite rides. And I just remember you wanting to go on it over and over again after that.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was one of mine. I also put down the very first time Acadia went. You weren't with us yet because you were not born.
Oh. Well. Oh. But why you gotta leave me out like that?
That trip was, hey, look, you know what? If you ask put the two of you next to you get to go to Disney so many more times than she does. So don't give her grief. Don't give us grief for going a couple times before you were born. Okay, so when her first trip, actually the park that we started with that trip was Animal Kingdom because it was new and we were excited to go there. And so that is where Acadia had her first Mickey bar. And so I have a vivid memory of her eating that and having chocolate all over her face, and it was just such a happy memory and kind of iconic, and so that's one of my favorite memories. I also love the memory, and I apologize to my mom.
No. Oh, okay, you're patting my leg, and I thought you were gonna.
No, but remember when the first time we went after Pandora opened, and we were going to go to Flight of Passage. And I intentionally didn't get us fast passes because I heard the fast pass would skip the line, and the queue area is really cool. It's really neat. There's some cool stuff to look at. You go through the lab, and I mean it's just really, really cool. And I didn't want us to skip the line or the queue. And so the plan was, instead of getting a fast pass for it, we would get there really early and rope drop it. And that's what we did. But I had done a lot of research, and I knew that they were starting to open the parks at least an hour before. Plus, this was back when they had the early morning hours. That park ended up with the early morning hours. So like we had to be there. I think I can't remember if they were opening at 8, and so we had to be there by 7 or they no. I think it was regularly open at 8. The early morning put it at 7, and so I knew we had to be there at least by 6. To be near the front of the line and to be able to get in. Anyways, we got up super early. I think I woke up my family at 4:30.
Why?
And so we could ride this ride. It worked though. We were like the first people in the security line.
Yeah, and
then as it got crowded and everything, it was kind of along a large group. We had my mom with us, and my mom is a little bit more slow going. Her poor ankle is really sore a lot, and so she couldn't really go very fast, and my husband would take her by the hand and practically drug her through to get there quickly enough so that we could get there in the first group. And she was such a good sport. After that, she got her scooter so that she could be off of her feet for the rest of the day. But we knew having the scooter in those crowds was not going to work. So she didn't even try until after that. But we got there, and it worked, though. By the time the park opened, we were literally already through the line and in, and where you guys were riding the ride.
But then, we actually.
My whole point was I wanted to see the line or the queue.
First group, we skipped the queue.
They didn't have that part of the queue open. They just had it straight shot through.
But then, as we went on, my mom asked.
Well, right. So you guys, they let you in, and at that point, I had to stop. I couldn't go in, and I told the cast member I couldn't ride. I knew I'd get sick. And so I asked her to wait for you guys because it was our first time. We didn't even know where it dumped out or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I said, is there any way, like, what's the best way? I'm kind of bummed. I really was hoping to go through the queue and everything, and that's why we didn't get fast passes. That's why we've been here for like over an hour. I think at that point it had been like 2 hours or something. It was crazy. And anyways, she said, well, hold on. If they haven't opened the queue up yet, if they haven't opened that part of the queue up, then maybe we can just take you back and let you go see it. And I was shocked. And sure enough, the line hadn't gotten long enough yet. So they had a cast member come, and they took me and allowed me to walk through that whole area and take as many pictures as I want. And I was literally the only person in that part of the queue that had the whole lab with the big, huge avatar, the life-size avatar, and like
they had magnetic sand.
They had just so much cool stuff to look at, and they let me look at that as long. And I didn't want to impose on it, and I also didn't want to miss when you guys got out, so I didn't take too much time. But it was just so cool, and I remember afterwards being sure. Actually, when my mom went to get her scooter, it takes you. She had to go back to the front of the park, and that's where the customer service is. And I went over and I put in a comment for those cast members that had made that happen for me, because when you have a good experience like that and you share that with Disney and let them know, they can recognize those cast members, and it actually goes into their file and it gets read in front of their coworkers, and it's a really big deal. And so just to be able to say thank you for going above and beyond and making that kind of a magical experience for me.
Yeah.
So you guys had a fantastic time on the ride.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had a fantastic time waiting for you by doing that. So that was one of my favorite memories and experiences too.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It was a really, really good day. And if I remember right, you guys loved that ride so much that later on You went on it once or twice more, I think, after dark when the
I
park was
remember-
getting a little bit less
Yeah,
crowded
I
and the lines
remember
weren't as
like
bad.
at the end, 'cause since like the ride when it opened, it was like the line was so long.
Oh
Got
yeah,
up
by
to,
the time you had finished the ride, the park was just barely opened.
Yeah.
By the time you guys got off and we were leaving Pandora, going over to Safari, of course, I believe it was over 3-hour wait.
Yeah.
And later on in the day, it was up to a 4-hour wait at one point.
Yeah. But like I think like the last time we went on like that trip, or I guess that day, I don't remember what it was. It was either a little less than 2 hours or like around 1 hour. I don't know. It was like longer than we'd normally wait for a ride.
But you loved it so much you were willing to.
Yeah. So like.
Except that when you got in the
oh,
line.
wait,
Sorry,
I'm
go
getting
ahead.
there.
Yes.
Me and my dad and my sister went on, and I was like, you know what, I really love the ride, so I'll wait that long. It ended up being like really a lot shorter.
I think it was like 40 minutes or 45 minutes or something like that.
So it was probably around 2 hours that we're expecting.
Yeah, because so many people were leaving the park, the crowds were lower, and so the forecasted wait ended up being a lot higher than was expected, and ended up being a lot shorter ride. Did you ride it 1 or 2 times that night? Because I thought you guys got back in line because it was less than that even by the time you rode it again.
I don't remember.
It was really good day for that for you guys. But yeah, so yeah, those are my favorite memories.
Yep.
All right, so we have finished the 4 main theme parks at Walt Disney World.
Woo!
I think we're gonna stick around Disney World though, because Disney World has so much more than just the theme parks.
Yep.
So I think next week we'll talk about water parks, something Disneyland does not have.
Nope.
All right, so stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in this week, and we will talk with you next week about Disney World water parks.
See you.